Hey, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire Geek. A bit of Star Wars. Well, not news, but 5 questions we have after Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1, The Apostate. This is from Digital Trends, as usual. Links in the description. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Share the videos, drop a comment, hit the notification bell. What's my microphone doing all the way down there? Hit the notification bell if you're subscribed. I'm also on Rumble and Odyssey, and Anchor.fm, and Spotify, and Amazon Music Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. I'm also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Links are in the description for those, as are the links for my books. There's one, Mercury Rapids, light-hearted, sci-fi action-adventure, big, thick, and a thin one, Silent Predator. It's a horror novella. It's all a bit of fun. Right. They're on Amazon, by the way. Links in the description. It's on Kindle and paperback. Right. Oh, they are. Right, let's have a read of this article, and then I'll have some words about The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1, The Apostate. I did a flash review of it. I thought I'm not going to sit and do a full hour or thereeabouts, going through the episode. Because frankly I couldn't be bothered. Because there's too much that going on these days. I'll be doing that tomorrow for Picard Season 3, but not for The Mandalorian. I don't think. It's not that good, although it is okay. But anyway, 5 questions we have after The Mandalorian Season 3 Episode 1. At long last, The Mandalorian has returned with its first new episode in more than 2 years. Was it worth the wait? Not really. The live-action Star Wars series wrapped up its second season in the winter of 2020. Was it so long ago? Was it 2020? Bloody hell. Now, The Mandalorian Season 3 has made... 2023 now. The Mandalorian Season 3 has made its long-awaited premiere on Disney+. While the series' Season 3 premiere is a surprisingly directionless and lacklustre instalment of television, that doesn't mean the episode titled The Apostate doesn't raise some compelling questions about the future of The Mandalorian. By the way, if you look up The Apostate, the meaning, actually means somebody who has renounced their religious beliefs or, their creed, which is kind of what the opposite of what Mando's doing. He's trying to reaffirm, isn't he? So they don't know what the word means. As I said, as I did my review, I can actually give it an 8 out of 10 because I did quite enjoy it. Because it had some decent action and stuff in it. It had pirates. It had a good space battle. It were okay. But I understand why people are saying it's lackluster. It didn't blow my socks off. But I did enjoy it for the most part. But what it worth, like two and a bit years wait, I don't know. Anyway, here's everything we're dying to know after The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 1. Will the Purrgil appear again? There we go, there we saw one. We saw one when they were going through hyperspace. Baby Din Djarin were asleep. Mando were asleep as they were going through hyperspace. And Baby Yoda, Grogu, were looking out of his little cockpit window, and as he looked, we could see these, the space whales. Hang on, you can't see me yet. There we go. The space whales there. We saw them silhouetted. They were going through hyperspace as well. We saw them in Rebels, of course, because they took Thrawn and Ezra Bridger, didn't they? We think they've gone to the unknown region somewhere, but. Anyway, right, as we'll learn here. During a hyperspace trip early on in the Mandalorian Season 3 premiere, Grogu looks out of his mini cockpit and sees the silhouettes of multiple creatures flying just outside the limits of Din Djarin's Pedro Pascal hyperspace trail. I don't think Pedro Pascal were ever in this episode, by the way, apart from his voice. Fans of Star Wars Rebels should immediately recognise the creatures as Purrgil, introduced. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly. Introduced in Star Wars Rebels, I just called them space whales. The Purrgil are a race of massive tentacled space whales who have the ability to naturally travel through hyperspace. The Purgle are perhaps best known for their role in the Star Wars Rebels series finale. The creatures are used by Ezra Bridger in that animated series' final episode to hyperspace jump both himself and Grand Admiral Thrawn to an unknown region of the galaxy. While it remains to be seen whether or not the Purgle will have any role to play in The Mandalorian Season 3, the creatures will almost certainly appear in Ahsoka. The upcoming live-action Disney Plus series is expected to be a quasi sequel to Star Wars Rebels, one that may very well reveal what happened to Ezra and Thrawn after the Purgle took them somewhere far, far away. I haven't got a drink, I can't do my drinking game. So that's that one. I did quite like that bit where you saw them like silhouetted, against the lights of hyperspace. They were kind of cool, and it shows that how big they are, because there you see Mando's little Naboo starfighter, which is looking a bit worse for wear, to be honest. There's some panels missing and stuff, but I think it gets fixed up in this season. He needs a bigger ship. That's what he needs. Why did they destroy his Razor Crest? Why? Who will become the new Marshal of Navarro? Who cares? Anyway. There's Grief Karga. Apollo Creed as Grief Karga. I know it's Carl Weathers. With his mayoral stuff. Trappings. During his visit to Navarro, for some reason I always think Navarro. Have I seen that somewhere? With an A instead of an E. It does ring a bell. Din Djarin, aka the Mandalorian, is surprised to discover that the planet has not only become a successful and booming new trade stop, but that it is also in desperate need of a new marshal. Din is asked to take the position by the planet's High Magistrate, Grief Karga, Carl Weathers, but he turns the request down. He's gone a long way in a short time, hasn't he? Grief Karga. He was like just the fella handing out bounties, wasn't he, to bounty hunters? Not that long ago. That means someone else will have to eventually step up and become Navarro's new marshal, but it seems safe to say that viewers will have to wait to find out who Karga chooses to fill the position instead of Din. Well, it's not bloody Cara Dune, is it? Because they said, at least they haven't killed off the character, so maybe, there might be a chance that she'll come back at some point. I doubt it, but, they haven't killed her off. They said she's gone off to be working, special forces, Republic Special Forces or whatever. So she's still out there, but they shouldn't have sacked Gina Carano. Although I keep saying they didn't fire her or sack her; they just didn't renew her contract. But technically, it really was a firing, wasn't it? Because she was supposed to be in Rangers of the New Republic, wasn't she? But Kathleen Kennedy's knee-jerk reactions put a stop to that, didn't they? Who is Gorian Shard? So is that the name of this character? I didn't know. There we go. We saw him, the Pirate King, or whatever they called him, like a bit of a cross between Swamp Thing and Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean. Anyway, over the course of the apostate, Din Djarin makes a new enemy of a fierce pirate captain named Gorian Shard. Nonso Anozi. Is that a famous person? I've no idea. However, despite the danger he seems to pose to both Din and Grief Karga, very little information is actually revealed about Shard in The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere. Unfortunately, there's nowhere else fans can look for info about Shard, as the character's appearance in The Apostate marks his Star Wars debut. Based on Shard's reaction to just how soundly Din and Grief managed to shut down his attacks in The Apostate, though, it seems safe to say that the Pirate King will show up again at some point in The Mandalorian Season 3. I mean, as far as Mando's concerned, he could go and just destroy the city on Navarro now, because he had a big ship and lots of fighters. Din Djarin had a space battle with these fighters and, polished them off pretty quickly, but then just buggered off into hyperspace. So, as far as Mando's concerned, he could take out his anger, this Swamp Thing chap, on Navarro, couldn't he? But anyway, we will see. He won't do, because, I think Jon Favreau writes out these scripts in an afternoon. I think they're all first drafts, because they seem that way. He doesn't seem to think things through. Will Bo-Katan attempt to take the Darksaber? There we go. There's the lovely Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan Kryze, just looking very sad all by herself in this Mandalorian castle with a droid looking after her. Unbelievable. At the end of the Mandalorian Season 3 premiere, Din pays a visit to none other than Bo-Katan Kryze, Katie Sackhoff. Din attempts to join Bo-Katan's crusade to bring their people back to Mandalore, but he's informed by Sackhoff's Mandalorian leader that her forces all slowly left her after she failed to retake the Darksaber from Moff Gideon in the Mandalorian Season 2 finale. Remember, well, she didn't fail because it was Mando that took it, that won it in combat from Moff Gideon, so he wields the Darksaber, and he tried to give it to Bo-Katan, but obviously you can't. You've got to win it in combat, which goes against what happened in Rebels when Bo-Katan were given the Darksaber by somebody. What's her name? I forgot her name now. Ren. What's her face? From the Rebels crew. Me and names. Ren. What's her name now? Anyway. So she took it then, didn't she? Bo-Katan asked Din if he still has the Darksaber just before telling him to use it to win the support of her former followers. However, while Bo-Katan doesn't make a move against Din during their brief interaction in the apostate, it's clear that she's become immensely bitter over the impact his defeat of Moff Gideon has had on her claim to the throne of Mandalore. Taking that into account, it seems fair to ask, will Bo-Katan ever grow tired of sitting in her castle and decide to try and take the Darksaber from Din herself? The Mandalorian Season 3 premiere certainly lays the groundwork for that very turn of events to happen, but fans will have to wait to find out whether or not Bo-Katan's potential feud with Din ever comes to fruition. What I think they're doing, what I think Jon Favreau's doing, because he decided that Mandalorians never take off their helmets, and then probably Dave Filoni came along and said, actually they do. Because then we saw, these Bo-Katan and the others, I forgot the names, they took their helmets off, and they made out that the Children of the Watch, which is what Din Djarin and the Armourer, what they were a cult, a minor part of Mandalorian culture. But I think what they're trying to do, that Jon Favreau's trying to do, is they're going to make, because we saw at the beginning of the episode, the Armourer and Paz Vizsla building up their forces, so they're building up their numbers again after being reduced to just 3 of them, including Mando in Boba Fett series. So they're building up their forces now, and she's losing all hers, isn't she? So I think they're trying to turn the tables, I think. What will Din find on the surface of Mandalore? Well, we've seen in the trailer what he'll find, didn't we? But it's what he'll find beneath the surface that's more interesting. If the apostate makes one thing explicitly clear, it's that Din is going to visit the supposedly destroyed planet of Mandalore at some point in the Mandalorian Season 3. Over the course of the season's first episode, Din repeatedly states his desire to bathe in the planet's living waters and redeem himself from the past instances in which he has taken off his helmet. But it's a stupid rule, is that? And you've got to take off your helmet. Because she says, at the beginning of the episode, she's like, baptising a young lad into the Children of the Watch, and she says, you'll never take off your helmet, but you've got to, haven't you? You've got to take it off at some point. We saw in season 1 that he takes off his helmet when he's by himself, because he were eating, wasn't he, when he were on that planet with the farmers and stuff. So they do take off the helmet. So as I said, Jon Favreau, he just rattles off these scripts in no time, I think. Din has in response been told by multiple people that the surface of Mandalore was turned into a poisonous wasteland by the Empire, like Mordor. Very air is a poisonous fume. But he seems determined to find out for himself whether that's true. Unfortunately, as is the case with many of the leftover mysteries from the Mandalorian Season 3 premiere, we'll just have to wait to see exactly what Din finds whenever he actually makes it back to his people's home planet. I don't think it'll be next episode, because they like the side missions, don't they? He'll be going somewhere else first, because he's got to find a part, hasn't he, for IG-11. In the first episode, pardon me, he tried to reactivate IG-11 Don't know why, because there wasn't much of him left. Remember, he blew himself up at the end of season 1, didn't he? Saving himself. What at the end of season 1 or season 2? I can't remember now. I think it was season 1, wasn't it? Yes, he did. At the end of season 1, he blew himself up to save the rest of them. And then Grief Karga had put him as a statue in the square, the town square of Navarro. What were left of him. But Din says, I want him to, he needs him to look after Grogu. And then as soon as he activated him, his initial programming took over. It wasn't his initial programming, it was his programming from the bounty that Grief Karga probably gave him. I don't know, maybe he did, I don't know. But the bounty from that Imperial chap, from the Imperial Remnant that, wanted the child either captured or killed, but for some reason IG-11 wanted to kill him. I don't know why. That was never explained, was it? But so anyway, he's got to find a part for IG-11's brain so he can be reprogrammed to protect Grogu. And I think I've seen somewhere that he's going to have Grogu is going to have he's going to end up inside IG-11, so it's like a walker, a bit like BB-8 in bloody Last Jedi. But we'll see. That's it. I think that's it anyway. Is it? Is that it? Yes, that's it. Right, so we'll leave it there. So that's 5 questions that we want answering, and there's more. And I'm sure more questions will pop up because there'll just be side missions aplenty. I don't even know how many episodes there's going to be in this season. But it'll be, pushing the story forward, side mission, pushing the story forward a bit, side mission, pushing the story forward a bit, side mission, finale. But I don't know how many episodes there'll be. So it'll be mostly side missions, which is, usually the case. With scripts that Jon Favreau rattled off in an afternoon. That's how I think it works. I do honestly think that's how it works. I don't think he's got a whiteboard or what they call it, cards, where they put cards up, don't they, be plot points and moving things about, trying to make it as sensible as possible. I don't think that happens. I don't think that happens anymore. It just gets rattled off, and if there's mistakes, so be it. If there's plot holes, they don't care. I sound like I'm moaning, but I did actually enjoy it. Because it was mindless fun. As I said, if you think about it, it's a load of rubbish. But, I liked when he fought the pirates. That were good. By the way, the pirate, not the Davy Jones fella, this other, one of Davy Jones' lieutenants who were on Navarro. It looked a lot like, I don't know if he was, I'll have to look him up on IMDb if he's on there. It looked a lot like one of the fellas that played aliens, quite a few aliens, but usually Drazi in Babylon 5. It's probably not him, because that's like 20 odd years ago, innit? But you never know. I'm going to look it up, and we'll see. And I'll put a little note there if I remember. If I don't, then fair enough. It don't really matter. Right, we'll leave it there. So, get rid of that. So, thanks for watching. Wherever you are in the universe, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.